Hey guys, it's me, Storyteller. How you doing? This is I hate announcing when the video is unscripted, but I just do it because it's important. This is one of those it's one of those update videos, the videos where you talk about stuff you're gonna do and what's been going on, but you don't actually make new content. And that's what we're gonna do. I have been meaning to do this forever and I just haven't been doing it. I just haven't. Right? The big question, let's get the initial one out of the way. Where have you been? I want to say for the past year, I'll even say 2 years, because 2 years ago is when I did the Kickstarter. Yeah, 2 years I haven't been as active or proactive on YouTube. There's a way you're supposed to do YouTube, and I haven't really been doing that, or at least it hasn't had my full attention in about like 2 years, right? Outside some things recently. So like, where have I been? What's going on? Well, one of them I've just answered. 2 years ago, I had like a Kickstarter for a indie video game that I'm going to talk about a bit in this video, a bit later, called NIXIE. And that has kind of taken the brunt of all of my, like, not only time, but like my creative energy. And, back when I was like doing YouTube a lot more consistency, I was in school, I was in university. And so like, it was easier for me to kind of churn out these videos. It was easier for me to go, let's get this one out, right? Or like to make all these custom assets or like these custom like ideas and all this stuff. Whereas now I'm not in uni anymore, right? And that's fine. Like that doesn't stop it. But now I'm working like I'm relatively full time, yeah. Well, at least full time isn't the best time, but I work on it every day. So yeah, like on my video game. And so because of that, and because I think creating that is more gratifying as an art piece, because without complaining too much, I recorded this video 3 times, by the way, because baby was crying in one, my family was being loud, and now I'm not even in the mood. So I sound moody. I was a lot happier in the other recordings, trust me. But what's it called? Gosh, where's my thoughts, where's my words, and where's my actions? When you make YouTube videos, it's so, I'm not gonna say instantaneous, it's reactionary, it's sporadic. It lives and dies in like a couple weeks, maybe a month, right? Videos can crop back up and you can make evergreen content, but really YouTube is about that grind, it's about the algorithm, right? You gotta just keep going. And so you're only as good as your last video. You say you're only as good as your last video, but that's just what you put out, that's just part of it. It's just part of who you are. The algorithm rewards consistency and engagement, meaning that if you can like provide shock value, like the YouTube channels, literally I watch like a lot of Sonic content, right? Like that I've seen that they'll title a video, man, like, does this thing suck? And then I watch the video and it's like, I don't think this thing sucks, guys. It's just, it's been a while since I uploaded, or I'm a bit late to this, so I had to sensationalize the title of it. I remember when we used to make fun of journalists like BuzzFeed and Kotaku for doing this. And now it's like YouTubers have become the new journalists, They've become the new sorry, I had to get the ad revenue. I had to get the views. And now like everyone's thumbnail is the same and all the titles are the same. I watched a video by Splash Dash recently, right? Sorry, this is so off topic. I promise I'll get the real stuff shortly, right? I watched a video by Splash Dash. It was about Sonic Mania. Great game made by like a fantastic Evening Star, pretty much. Fantastic team. Christian Whitehead, great people. And the video was called like Sonic Mania is fundamentally fun. And I love it, right? It was a play on the typical negative video stuff, right? And it wasn't getting the views, and so he had to change the title. You could go on his Twitter and find this out, right? I enjoyed the video. I watched it. I made like halfway. Come back. I'm like, where's the video? I realized the title was changed and the thumbnail's changed. He changed it to Sonic Mania is bad apparently, and the title now, the thumbnail now says, and I hate it. And I'm sitting here like, it's crazy that like we have reached that point. And obviously something as small scale as like a video game isn't like a big deal in that context, right? But now like you have to understand that the algorithm isn't just like relative to specific things. it rewards shock value, it rewards engagement. That means likes, dislikes, comments, subscription, all this stuff. What did the video make this person do, right? Even you clipping it and posting it to, to Twitter, that's still you engaging in the video. Even you copying the link, YouTube knows when you do that. You know how much I know about you guys? You think I don't know how old you are? I know where most of you guys are from. So YouTube gives us way too much information, and I think in everyone trying to be like these mini entrepreneurs, like these mini influencer figures, it's ironically made everyone BuzzFeed and everyone clickbait. And what was once a culture that we looked down on, like where it's just this kind of tokenary, reactionary, like brand thing, that's everyone now. We don't read articles, we quote tweet the title and to give our opinion, not necessarily to give an informed opinion, but just so we can be the first ones to have that takeout. How else are we gonna get those likes, those views, right? We don't reply to tweets, we quote retweet them, because everybody gotta know what I have to say. That's me being cynical. I didn't come here to be cynical. I'm sorry about that. Sorry, why have there been videos? Well, some of it has to do with that, right? Like, I feel like YouTube's gotten a bit shallow, right? To be blunt. Every channel is basically the same. I see the same thumbnails, same titles, all this stuff. I get a bit tired, right? It grew exhausting, and it's like conform or like fold, right? And that can sometimes be like a messy situation. There's a right way to do it. Like, there's definitely, to be blunt, like, it feels like there's a very right way to do it, and I just don't want to do that. Struggle to do things that I don't want to do. Okay, cool. That's part of why there's no videos. I think I made a video called Influence and Integrity. It's kind of covering a bit of that, where it's just kind of, like that your integrity wanes the further. People say the term content creator is like a shallow term, and they don't like it, and I agree. But I mean, YouTube's kind of a shallow platform. You know what I mean? You put the video out, and like that's it. It just exists there. Part of making NIXIE and working on an indie video game, part of what makes that gratifying is that it's art. It lives and breathes without me. Not to say that the videos don't live and breathe without me, but much more that they are less likely to be buried in the ether of endless YouTube content online, right? It's a standalone, independent thing that can exist, and that's cool to me, right? And so that's been really gratifying for me. Not to say that I would never make YouTube videos. In fact, got some video updates. Cool, the Boondocks videos, that's what people like watching, right? Way back when I did story times, Operation Black Steel, Free Huey. We've got to talk about that Foodbank, by the way. Free Huey. Like, I think I did Off the Record once. I did like these miscellaneous videos. Did a bunch of stuff, but a lot of Boondocks videos, a lot of Boondocks content. And I've been getting some comments recently. It's like, all right, is it all just gonna be Boondocks? Like, even go back to that engagement point I was making earlier, man. I was doing all those damn polls and all those like little Q&As. I was testing the system, and it works. Yeah, it's engagement. That's what they want. That's what you're supposed to do. Engage people, right? Get them to vote in your polls. Get them to like. Get them to comment. Get them to engage. That's how you do it. That's how you play the game. I don't like playing the game. I don't like doing it, and I don't like that it works. I don't like a lot of what our culture is becoming, because a lot of it's becoming dictated by algorithms, right? Because that's what produces the most money, and what produces the most money is what gets the most engagement. And how do you get engagement? Shock value, and being reactionary and being quick. Very, very frustrating. Cool. Losing my train of thought here. Boondocks videos. So originally, way back when, I think this was like maybe 2020. It was a bit before the reboot was announced, but it was vaguely 2020. I was working on a documentary for the Boondocks, right? I was working on it was called The Right to Be Hostile. You can probably find some stuff of it, right? And so The Right to Be Hostile was a documentary. It was called a Boon documentary, and it was supposed to cover the whole, like, just all of Boondocks, right? And a lot of the behind the scenes stories, right? I've communicated this before, but like, I grew up watching Aaron Magruder's C-SPAN lectures. I watched all of his talks. I watched his keynotes, and I read every single one of the man's interviews. And I like read the interviews of like people that worked on the show. Like, I spoke to people that worked on the show. I spoke to LaShawn Thomas. I read all the interviews from Carl. I probably could get in contact with Carl and think about it. He's doing a little PR tour right now. If I have like a list, if you guys would want me to talk to Carl, what kind of questions would you want asked? Because I don't want to ask the questions he's already answered. It's like, yeah, you know, Ludacris used to was gonna voice fuck this. Like, I know, like, I don't care, right? Not in the sense that that's not an interesting story, but he's told the story so many times. It's like no one has an interesting question to throw his way. So it's something I'm considering doing, but I'd have to like, I need the right way to frame it, you know? Yeah, framing is a big thing for me. Yeah, right. I spoke to Angela Nissel, right? Learned a lot about the production of season 4 in our conversation. I've read Angela Nissel's books. I've read all of Aaron's books. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot you learn, right? Without saying too much, you learn a lot. You can learn like so much just from like about this series, about its production, and I think there's a lot of lessons that I learned in learning about not only its production but the stories behind it. Whether that's through like how to demonstrate like artistic integrity, or maybe how to run a team, or you know, the failures that can come with doing certain things or not doing certain things. There's so much to, I think, learn on Boondocks. I think the message of like, you know, be critical of everything you see, read, and hear is really like strong. It's something that I try to carry in my channel, to be blunt, and that's why I kind of like even if I like stopped making Boondocks videos, like even talk about it briefly, I do want to rebrand the channel, right? I want to rebrand the channel to kind of be a bit more like media. Like, one of the most interesting things for me to talk about, in my opinion, I mean, I literally just did it, is the way is media control and how it affects the way we think and see the world. Because I think that understanding really shifts the way you see a lot of media. I got Yu-Gi-Oh! GX right in front of me. I love Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. It's cool stuff about the hero complex, season 3, all that stuff, right? I watch Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. It's a card game commercial, man. It's a card game commercial. Watch Pokemon, it's commercial. I'm telling you, watch Dragon Ball Z, all these animes, all the cartoons, fam, it's a commercial, right? Or you want to know why he yelled out the name of the attack before he did it, right? Not because it made any sense to do, it's because that's how you sell the toy. That's gonna be the video game move, you know? And like that's was it not like a Sonic Boom interview I was watching with like Alan, one of the writers, and he was like, they told us to feature the car more, the custom cars more, because they wanted to sell merchandise of it. So we had to write them into a ton of episodes. Like, bro, like these, make no mistake, advertising is in everything, and there are messages. Even the things you're like, this is just art, bro. A nigga trying to sell something, you know? Like, and this is that sort of stuff really interests me. Like, what is this really trying to say? What is the effect this is having on our culture? Like, and how propaganda works. That stuff is like all up my street. Part of that comes from reading up on Black history. Part of that is because that's, to me, the core fundamental message of the Boondocks, if I'm looking at all of it, right? Yeah, and so I kind of want to do more of the channel on that, you know, because that's again, it's passion, interests me, boy. Yeah. Oh gosh, man, you got me thinking about Boondocks, man. It's crazy how like the Boondocks was about like the kids, and then it really just slowly just transitioned to being about the older man them. Just transitioned to being about the adults. Very interesting stuff. And that's something I want to cover right now. My points are going to be all over the place, by the way. I'm so sorry. Quick one on the Boondocks content. It's not going to stop, for the record. I want to use the documentary notes and really just kind of go through. I want to do the whole retrospect. I want to go through every single comic strip. I'm going to cover Birth of a Nation. I'm going to cover like Angela Nissel's books. They are important to the story. Trust me, it will make sense. Obviously, I'm going to do like episode by episode review. I'm sorry. Hay fever, coming off a bit of a cough. Like, it would be so hard for me to just be like, so like even like I've been suggested, tell us what your top Boondocks episodes are, what your least favorite Boondocks episodes are, right? And I would be sitting there talking for like 40 plus minutes. Do you know what I mean? About any given episode, because there's always a story there. Like, do you know what I mean? Mr. Medicinal is a story about how it happened to Aaron. Wingman is a story about how it happened to Aaron, right? What's it called? You know, in Mr. Medicinal, the line Riley says, where he's like, yeah, President Obama says we can't move forward, looking backwards. Obama said that, ironically, about investigating 9/11. So like, and obviously 9/11 is like a really big like recurring theme in the Boondocks. Like, there's such, oh gosh, man, let me be quiet, let me chill, let me relax, because I'm talking too much and there's a lot of ground to cover. There's a lot of ground to cover. I will be jumping in between Boondocks here and there though. I got engaged, right? That was part of it. Another reason that videos slowed down significantly was that I got engaged. Yeah, that doesn't mean videos are gonna stop, but it just means I'm busier. In fact, if I can just communicate a general vague sentiment, I'm just really busy. I'm working on my friend's film, like, you know, every day I program. Like, it was I have like put on so much weight just on the premise that like sometimes I just stay in the room, wake up, dusk till dawn, program. It is not something I would advise. It's not something I'd advise at all. Game dev is ridiculously hard. You are making an interactive movie that people can, for lack of a better term, fuck up, right? And really like scrutinize, because people aren't nice to games, right? I know these biggest fears that some white boy is gonna play the game and we'll just be like, man, you know what I mean? Sucks. Like, you guys are mean, right? You mean people, and don't give people no love, right? No leeway, and so like that can be really scary, really daunting. Yeah. Some other videos I want to make: Sonic and existentialism. I think there's some interesting things you can say about existentialism in relation to Sonic. Oddly enough, it sounds really silly, but like a lot of that too, like what Shadow, Emerald, Knuckle, like all these characters are just like, man, what do I do with my life? You know what I mean? And how do I make sense of my purpose? There's a lot, even Blaze, there's a lot of Sonic characters like this, right? Frontiers is literally about this, Shadow is about this, SA2 is about this, Knuckles' story is about this, Sonic Battle's about this, you know. 06 has bits and pieces of this. It's like every character is going through like this little. Frontiers is about this, right? I think there's something to be said there, and it would be like I love the Wretched of the Sonic. If you haven't seen that video, love that video. It would be like a sequel to that video, and that's something I've been toying around with. Cool. A ton of other video ideas like Black Lagoon. Again, media propaganda. Want to do a ton with that. Like, just what is this form of media trying to say? I had like an idea to do a video series like called like Black Leftist Lens or something like that, something along those lines, where I like it'd basically be like Operation Black Steel rebranded, right? I might just do Operation Black Steel, but like it would be me looking at media like specifically from a black leftist lens. Do you know what I mean? So what I want to do for that is Death Note, right? Because or Korra, because the politics in those shows are like bad, but they're fascinating. For the record, I like Korra. Do you know what I mean? But they're fascinating to talk about, and that's kind of something I want to do. Like, I'm not Mr. like, yeah man, all the media I consume has to agree with me. I don't give a damn about that. I think Family Guy is really interesting because like it presents its political spectrum as liberal and conservative. Do you know what I mean? Like that's it's like, gosh man, yeah. I think that's inherently interesting even on its own. Do you know what I mean? There's things I want to talk about. Yeah. Anyway, that's kind of me rambling for a bit. NIXIE. Right. NIXIE. Sorry, I've got like a little whiteboard in front of me to just re-verify what I'm supposed to be talking about. Right, because I'm not that smart, so I have to kind of jump back to make sure I know what I'm talking about. It says here NIXIE documentation, dev stories. Oh, right. Okay, cool. I have reprogrammed NIXIE like a million times, right? Like maybe like 5 times. It feels like a million though. You reprogram a game from scratch like 5 times. You learn a lot, right? I feel pretty competent in my ability to do it. I wanted to start a video series where I talk about like my process making NIXIE. You know, is that something that people would be interested in? You know, I feel like the answer is a resounding yes, but one of the things I regret about NIXIE is not documenting more of my process. And so I remade the game a ton of times, partially because I was like, hey, I want to get to a point where I can remake this like that. You know what I mean? And like, you know, even just necessarily remake, but just really be comfortable in my programming. And like in the past 2 years, I would like to say I've gotten pretty good at programming. You know what I mean? Like I understand like C# very well, C++. It's pretty good. So yeah, no. Yeah. In terms of, I guess this is like a cool place. I'm gonna do the videos, but to give you guys a brief idea about how NIXIE is going. Programming is hard, and I don't recommend it to anyone. Game dev is hard, and if you want to do it, you better be really passionate about it. You better really want to tell that story. Finish the story, Cody. You know, like, yeah, because, man, it is the best way I could describe it. For those who saw the last video, is that it's like NIXIE or the game is kind of like my comic strip, right? Or in the sense that like how Aaron felt to the comic strip is kind of how I'm feeling to NIXIE, right? But not necessarily in that I hate it, right? I don't hate NIXIE. I love it. I love working on it. Love getting animations back. Love like sending out the emails. I love like when things are working in the code. It is so cool, right? I'm like, oh my god, this is something you made, right? What I don't love is like being stuck. I don't love going, great, I have a problem. And like, because programming, there is like things you can look up online and be like, yeah man, the solution to the problem is this, right? Or I just need to do this. And if, to be blunt, I'm at vaguely a state where I'm like, okay, I probably just need to do this, right? So that's not the concern. It's a lot more that it's very tedious. And okay, let me tell you guys a little programming secret very quickly. I'm gonna tell you a quick programming secret, right? Obviously NIXIE's Blackberry game, you know, it means a lot to me. I've given talks about the game. I think one of them is even uploaded on the channel. All right, cool. Let me give you guys a little secret about game dev, right? The visual stuff. The visual stuff, that's the easy stuff, right? And I don't mean that in a mean way. I'm saying it's not hard for me to fake a screenshot or fake some footage. I'm not saying I've done this, but I'm saying it's very easy. It's harder. The stuff you don't see is significantly harder. And this feeds into the next point. Certain games, but this is only in the context of Unity. I wanna sorry about that. Oh, I'm dying, bro. Certain games, I might be, oh gosh, I'm not dying. Maybe. Gosh, I'm getting worried now. Yeah, my cough's been pretty bad. Gosh. Anyway, what's it called? NIXIE. Unity obviously has the Unity asset store. Obviously, Unity is unethical and whatnot. Crazy. I'm stuck with Unity because I've been working on this game for 2 years. I'm like changing to Godot like now. I'm sorry, or Godot. Sorry. Ooh, it's Godot. Right. Yeah. Unity asset store, like just tutorials online, right? You look at that stuff and it's like, oh, how to make a platformer like Mega Man, how to make an RPG like Zelda. You know what I mean? Me, I'm trying to make a top-down 2D hoverboard game, and the world, on top of that, I'm also doing a bit of the world ends with you, right? World ends with you, there is not a single game like it. There is not a single one. I remember I had to kind of start with a bit of a beat 'em up template for the like controls and all this stuff, and then from there build, if that makes sense. I remember having to create my own gravity system, and I hated it. It's annoying and it's not fun. I like, yeah, it has to be fake gravity because it's obviously top down. There's not like a floor plane. You almost have to use like the shadow as a floor, if that makes sense. It's so annoying. I'm gonna be so blunt. It's very annoying. Sorry. So yeah, the shadow plane, this, that, and the third. The combat system, no, the dialogue system. That was the worst part. Easily, the dialogue system was like the worst part, man. Getting that to work. Once I got the dialogue system to work, it was easier. The card system was also a bit hard at points, but that dialogue system was hell. And I'll be like, oh, dialogue's the easy part, bro. That's the easy part. Easy. Just get it easy. Like, no, because you want it. There's a difference between something. Oh, gosh, sorry. There's a difference between something working and something working well, right? Because what you want in like a dialogue system, or you in the system that's in the world ends with you, is that you want the dialogue to come in, that to animate. First of all, you need the speech bubble to be able to change on a whim whenever you want it to change, right? You need it to come in from either direction. You need the next line to always go up, and then you need the final line when it goes all the way up to delete itself, right? And you need that to loop. It needs to be like a looping action with new dialogue every time. There is nothing online about this. Nothing, right? I just had to like make it. I just make it myself, right? Blind. It was the worst. It was the worst. The worst. I didn't watch Parks and Recreation, but we're watching a lot of the Sonic movie, so yeah. Sorry guys, I'm like super sick. I'm not gonna lie to you. Or at least I've been feeling really sick. Oh gosh. Sorry. But it's okay. I've been busy. Yeah, the dialogue system was hard. I'll cover this a lot more in the video series eventually, but working on NIXIE has been like so gratifying. I'll be so raw. It's been so cool. It's been cool to kind of like depict my reality, to depict my environment, and do something really creative with it, like finding that niche. It's been cool going to universities and like meeting students, right? Because I'm not even that far removed from uni, I don't think. 3 years, maybe, I don't know. But like going to universities and telling them about the game and giving them talks, like that was cool, you know? And getting people to, seeing people's reactions and hearing people laugh at the jokes in the game, I was like, oh my god, thank god. And you funny? That's good. Always thought I wasn't funny. Gotta love that Isatani. Give me that cheeky, that Isatani wit, you know? Like Isatani witty dialogue, as they say, you know? Yeah. So that's NIXIE, right? It's been fun to work on, it's super gratifying. It also takes forever, right? Pixel art, expressions, character designs, animation, backgrounds, music. Bro, it's an interactive movie. And then you have to program it all together. It's like it's not like I'm getting comic panels and I've already written the script, you know. Like I'm making a script. I'm not even making like an animation. Like it's not a focused thing. It's a mix of everything, to be blunt. A game is like a multimedia piece in a lot of ways. And in that sense, it's really exciting, but it's also really daunting. So it's yeah, that's such is game dev. All right, next on my list is so game dev stories. Next on my list is the free Huey Foodbank. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. I was gonna save some of this for the Black Lagoon video, but I want to talk about it here, and I'm gonna be candid and very honest here. Game dev ate my time. Engagement ate my time. Doing the free Huey Foodbank was very difficult. Keep in mind, there was a time where I was doing I was working with Junie Barr. You guys might know him for like some of the DC comics. He's got like Monkey Meat too. He's got like some great stuff. Junie is incredibly talented. I think I plugged him in one of the early free Hueys. And so Junie was helping me make the cover art for some of those, right? For a while. And I remember I was working with LJ, and he was helping me do like these little coloring books for kids, right? And so they could color in like Huey and Riley and stuff like that. I would contact people to write pieces and talk about their experiences. I would have to buy books and add them to like the pile. There was so much I had to do. There's no right way to word it. There was just so much I had to do. And I did this every month, and it was mostly by myself, right? I had the help of my fiance. I had the help of some people, but for the most part, like it was like a pretty solo venture, right? And trying to grapple that, and obviously like I'm getting these magazines quote unquote sent to me, so got not only are you gotta like keep track of the food that everybody wants, but then I have to commission the artwork. So I have to commission the cover, that's running me a couple hundred. I got to commission the line art, it's gonna run me a couple hundred. Then I gotta like what's it called, I gotta contact people. I'm like, hey, you'd be really great for this issue, could you write something for this? I think I was working with Tiana, she was great. And then gosh, it was so long, and I have to make it all in InDesign, finish it, done and dusted, go for a website, get sent back to me with multiple copies, all again costing money. They obviously buy the supplies, put them all in a container, buy a book in relation to the theme, then put it all back, right? And I have to upload the cover to Patreon, all this stuff. It was cool. It wasn't sustainable. That was the big problem with what I was doing, right? And when April hit and the game got funded, it all went to hell a little bit. Not the food bank inherently, like just the whole idea of doing the whole like the magazine to this, that, and the third, that just really went to hell. Around the time I was doing, what's it called? So I'm working on NIXIE at this point. Like I'm basically working full time on NIXIE. Like the game's just been funded. By the way, Kickstarter takes a lot of money. People underestimate that. Like Kickstarter says I got 11k. I didn't get 11k, man. They gave me like 8k, right, to work on the game, because they take their money. Like they're like, hey, hang on a minute, buddy, my money now. You know what I mean? But yeah, no. So yeah, I do that. So yeah, now like the covers are gone, like the magazines are gone, right? Cool. Now I'm just doing the food bank stuff for a while, right? Then again, I'm trying to, and I'm trying to keep all of it. The best way I could word it is like, it's kind of like Aaron trying to, for the Boondocks fans, it's like Aaron trying to balance the show and the strip, right? Something's got to give, right? And I kept diverting more and more energy to the game because like, this needs priority. This is what, like, do you know what I mean? You need to focus on this. This is the thing. And so like it became harder to buy books. I also just wanted, I feel like Rossi is saying this. I've been watching a lot of Gurren Lagann. You're like, don't try to go in alone. You know, like you don't. It's not worth it, right? Never try to go in alone with these things. It's not worth it. My battery says it's dying. I'm worried. But yeah, no. And I tried to go in alone for a bit, and so after a while, I took a step back and I said, all right, I want to learn, right? So I joined this group called Coco Collective. They are like a community garden, and they were incredible. I learned so much from them. They were so cool. Then I joined this group called Fight Racism, Fight Imperialism. They were really cool. I just basically kept like hopping between different orgs in London to kind of figure out like how people are doing this, right? And the big thing is community and like working with people more in your community. I think one of my biggest flaws, even just as an individual, is that I have a habit of just like working on my own, right? And just tunneling into what I do. And part of that has to do with like, I think I struggle with collaboration, and I think that's because I've been burned by people so many times in the past. Right? I have a lot of bad experiences being collaborative, so I usually put the brunt of things on myself, right? I don't like people letting me down when I'm working on something I'm passionate about creatively, and I don't feel right like pushing. I almost feel weird. I mean, it has to do with maybe how I'm born, you know, Nigerian, African, conservative family, whatever, you know. Like this idea of like going, man, all right, I need you to make this thing happen. That can like be hard for me sometimes. But that's not the mentality you need to come in on when you're trying to do mutual aid or you're trying to help people, you know. And I think that was one of the big lessons I learned. Saying all this to say, all right, so what do we do about the food bank now, right? What's the plan now? I think for now, I am going to try make this thing bi-monthly, right? That's the first thing, right? I'm going to strip it all down. I'm going to strip down obviously the covers, the books, it's all cool, and we can maybe do something for like special months or special themes. But I think it's unrealistic, especially with game dev, and it has been unrealistic for a while because it's hard for me. I'm gonna be blunt, it's hard for me. I remember even just feeling like it's performative to like upload first, like, yeah, we're given this now. Like, I thought it was always a bit weird. So yeah, I think I'm gonna try to do this Foodbank thing bi-monthly. That's gonna be the new step. I'm gonna update the Patreon by God's grace by the time I've uploaded this video, and you know, the Foodbank is gonna be less of a focus on the Patreon. We'll still do it, but it was like a learning experience, just going to the brunt of it. And I'm proud of myself for actually daring to do it. I felt like I was communicating some of that stuff before. I was like, I think YouTube's so shallow and like just money driven. It's just shallow as hell. All the content's the same. No one wants to do anything, you know? But that's me being a hater, right? I'm a hater. I know that, right? And I just, I wanted to try something. And in some ways it didn't work out, but in a lot of ways, like, I feel like I have like a renewed understanding, and I learned so much in that process. I'm not perfect, but yeah, no, that's kind of part of what that was. So yeah, Foodbank will be bi-monthly. I'll be posting updates in community posts and the Patreon, so look forward to that. But it's just gonna be the food. We're just gonna focus on the food, because I think me trying to man, I tend to go crazy with things. That's my problem. Like, yeah, man, we've got to get this big cover done, we gotta get all this line art done, and then we need everybody to give the arc. Like, it was just ruining me. It was destroying. And I'm trying to do game dev. Bro, you're stupid, you're dumb, right? Yeah, you're dumb. Yeah. Okay, cool. Speaking of Black British culture, my battery is on 4%. Give me 1 second. Oh man, did I fix it? Oh, that fix it? That fixed it, didn't it? Yeah, okay, cool. Alright, I mean, here's hoping this works. Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry, I'm back. I got the charger, so like my laptop won't die, so I can chill you guys for a bit more. Okay, cool. So we spoke a bit about the food bank, spoke about documenting NIXIE more on the channel, spoke about kind of rebranding the channel, new direction, spoke about why the Boondocks videos are what they are, and like what I want this channel to be. Like, I didn't talk about this, like the idea of hitting 100k, right? A big reason I was kind of doubling down on the Boondocks content for a while there was because I was like, I want to hit 100k and then do the rebrand, because to me that's the perfect point to like the bouncing point to like really just kind of shift the direction of your channel a bit. Not in the sense that like, oh, so all the Boondocks videos will go, like, no, but much more that like I would be taking like maybe just like a slightly different approach, or just like more more varied videos, but with the same kind of energy. Like I like to believe that like someone said like the channel is a bit like an extension of like the Boondocks, right? And I like that, right? The Free Hueys were never about the Boondocks, but like, you know, I tried to use Boondocks as a means of helping people understand politics, you know what I mean, and things going on in the world. I tried to use Boondocks to help people understand, like, yeah, like just a lot of my sorry, a lot of people used to say like I talk about Boondocks a lot, but if you really watch these videos, I'm not really talking about Boondocks much at all. I'm just kind of talking about like theory, like around, and using Boondocks as a means to kind of have that discussion to begin with, you know, like that's what really a lot of this content is, you know. Yeah, that's like, and I thought that was really cool, you know, because to me, I want more people to understand, and find a lot of these videos boring, so I was like, just make the video that you would have watched, you know, the video that would have helped you understand, you know. And I'm still not perfect at that, but I think I'm getting there. I'm getting better, so here's hoping. In my notes it talks about a Black British creative like community, or just like seeing the Black British community like kind of flourish creatively, and that's a big thing. One of the best things about working on NIXIE, I think, was working with Black British voice actors. Was one of them, obviously. Another one was just working with like my surroundings again, like trying to depict like Black Britain through video games is cool. I went to go see a play recently called For Black Boys Who Considered Suicide. It was incredible. I went to go see, like, there was like it's like a museum gallery type beat thing, was talking just about like, it was just like an exhibition, and it was about Black British like history and music, etc. It was so fascinating. I think it's still on. Recommend people go. It was great. Yeah, it was so fun. I had like such a great time with it. Yeah, and so like, and obviously I recently met a guy called Sosa. He's like basically the kingpin of Black British creativity, multimedia creativity, right? Because he makes like music, he makes games, he programs, he makes artwork. He's like the Carl Jones of this stuff, right? Where he's wearing every hat because he really wants to make it happen. Like, if you're not following Sosa, you gotta follow Sosa, man. Similarly, if you want more videos like kind of about like Black British culture and like not even just Black British culture but Black British history, Hyphenated J, if you're not subscribed, if you're not following Hyphenated J, you have to do that. Me and Hyphenated J recorded a video like last year, maybe early last year, and it was about like the Caribbeans versus like Africans narrative, and where or the people from Caribbean, and yeah, like versus Africans narrative and where that comes from, because that's a really big thing in the UK, man. Like, was it not recently? I went to a friend's house and as he was introducing me to one of his friends, I'm like, yo, man, what's up? He said, yo, and I was like, so where are you from? And I said, Nigeria. And he's like, oh man, you know, you guys sold us as slaves. And I'm like, man, we're doing this, and we make it all, and then starts doing all this stereotype stuff. I'm like, what we're doing this still, you know? I think there's an interesting history around it, right? And given how much of an influence people from the Caribbean and that culture has had on the UK, right? The UK is very like I was gonna say it appropriates, but yeah, it kind of does. It's interesting. Yeah, I just think it's really interesting, I guess. And that was something I wanted to discuss. That video was recorded like early 2023. I still haven't dropped the video, mainly because I'm trying to find like the best angle, and it's a great discussion, so I want to give it something good. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want the video to be like really strong, you know? So again, if you haven't subscribed to Hyphenated, yeah, you should definitely get on that. You should do that. Yeah. Damn, I've been talking for 40 minutes. That's not good. That's not great at all. Ooh. But yeah, no, right. And so like I guess like in seeing all of that sort of stuff, it's kind of made me want to create some form of like Black British hub, you know, for like Black British creators. And if that's something you'd be interested in, contact me on Instagram or Twitter, right? Because that is genuinely something that I want to do, right? And a big reason for that is and I'm gonna be like a bit more like mask off here to be very transparent, right? I found that, and it's not, I want to stress that I'm not like pointing fingers or going like, yeah, it was this person or that person. I'm not saying anything, right? But what I will say is that like I found myself often in situations, and I've spoken to many other Black British people, found themselves in very similar situations where like they enter a space for like Black people in the diaspora, what have you, whatever, right? And obviously, it's probably mostly going to be a Black American space. Even like discussion of Blackness is very geared around Black American identity. And there's a lot that we can say about that, and there's a lot to explore in that. In fact, I think I wrote something about it in NIXIE. People, okay, quick side tangent. I love tangents. It's my favorite thing to do. I'm a tangent guy. I'll be rambling, bro. I'll be spiraling. What's it called? Some people are like, yeah, is NIXIE gonna be a bit like Boondocks? And it's like, if I made NIXIE like Boondocks, you guys would hate it, because you have to understand, like, you know, Aaron has a lot. There's a reason when you go on Aaron Magruder's IMDb, like, it just says Boondocks and Black Jesus, man. That man has made enemies, right? To the point where even he was like, in some interviews, he was like, yeah, man, like, I avoid like talking shit about some people because I actually want to work in Hollywood, you know? Say that to say, if I started making like there are some things I just can't do, basically, right? Yeah. I know what there's some things I'm doing, but there's some things I can't do. So yeah. Yeah, to say I did parody this like idea, some of this idea a bit like in like a concept I wrote for NIXIE, right? But it's kind of like disheartening sometimes because you find yourself in these spaces, right? And then they don't see you. They don't see you as like another black person, you know, under the heel of white supremacy, you know, what have you, right? They just see British. Tuesday, innit? And it's just like, bro, come on, man. Really doing this? What fascinates me, I'll be not trying to start a diaspora war here. For the record, I have nothing but profound respect, right? This is kind of worms. I might get into this. When am I ever gonna get into this? Let me actually talk about it, right? One, I don't understand the logic of like. I think it's a slippery slope to hear someone's accent and immediately assume something about their character. I think that's dangerous rhetoric. That's white man's rhetoric, to be blunt. Hear the way someone talks and be like, yeah, man, he probably lived this life. It's like, no, you don't know me. If you notice, I don't talk. I talk about Boondocks a lot as like art. You know what I don't do? I don't go, yeah, you know, in Chicago, it's like this. I don't do that, you know? I don't go like, yeah, man, you know, like in the Bronx, it's like this. No, I don't do that. Do you know what I mean? I don't say in Philadelphia, it's like this. I don't say in Miami, it's like this. I don't say in Boston, it's like that. I don't know any of this stuff. What I do know is black history. And I know Boondocks really well. And I know a lot of its history. A lot of these videos, I'm talking about Boondocks. And what fascinates me sometimes, I get these comments, like, I still do, I still get them. Like, man, black Brit, no one wants to hear you speak. And it's like, I'm just telling you information. Like, the video will be me saying, yeah, Aaron really hated his job. Here's a bunch of quotations from Aaron, right? No, I've barely given an opinion. And instead of it's almost disheartening. Like, the comment will be like, yeah, man, British, get out of here. And it's like, bro, like, can I not be like inspired by this piece of art? Do you know? That's the first thing. But also, it's like a lot. I make a very clear effort to try not to talk over people. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna look at the Boondocks, and I don't even think the Boondocks does this that much, right? Like, I don't look at Boondocks and go, yeah, man, like, this is like, I could tell this is Atlanta. Like, no, I don't know. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know. And so, like, I try my best to not step on people's toes in that regard. I think what frustrates me is that when people hear my accent, they hear British Empire. They hear like colonizers, right? And it's like, hey, I hate them too. You know, yeah, they did some horrible, really fucked up stuff. Let's be very transparent. No, they did some really horrible stuff, right? But you know, they did it to me too. Do you know? Like, does that make sense? Whereas, like, I wouldn't look at a black American, right, or African American, and then be like, yeah, you know, I mean, because America has a monopoly on the world right now. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, but I'm not gonna come here and be like, yeah, man, I'm not rocking with the African Americans, because, you know, America is like the most dominant superpower in the world, and they're evil and they're imperialists, and their government is corrupt, and they probably need to be shut down and overthrown. You know, I didn't say that. Someone else did. No. Right? I don't do that. I don't think so. I mean, I do think they should be overthrown. They're a corrupt government. But I wouldn't run around like be like, yeah, man, yeah, that's how I feel to you. Like, I think that's ridiculous. I think that's really silly. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's always kind of grinding my gears. It's always really frustrated me. And so, like, I try to navigate that sort of stuff with a lot of respect. So when I find myself, going back on topic, when I find myself in these spaces with like a ton of black Americans, you know, or like African Americans, it can be a bit discomforting when all they want to do is make fun of your accent or make it about how you talk. And sometimes they're not even doing that. Sometimes, like, it's just hearing a black British voice and just be like, you know, I can't take this guy seriously. Do you know what I mean? And that's really frustrating, right? Because you won't hear the voice of another black person in the diaspora because they don't sound exactly like you. And that makes me ask questions about, and this for the record, this goes every direction. It's not specifically African Americans, it's not specifically like race. black people from France, Italy, black Italians, what have you. It's global, right? I don't see the logic, because that makes me question what this is really about, right? Do you know? Because if you hear someone's accent and you're just like, yeah, no, do you know what I mean? You're not proud to be black. You're proud to be American. You're proud to be British. Do you know what I mean? Because if part of this had to do with blackness, then surely there would be some, I don't know, black solidarity. But I think a lot of people haven't. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like people are well versed in like black history in their own fare, right? But you know, I think a lot of people haven't like properly engaged in that bias to begin with, right? And that's kind of the frustration. I'm not gonna scream like, you know, American exceptionalism or whatnot, right? But like, I think that's something that I've noticed. I think the rest of the world is forced to only learn. Oh, like there's another idea that like really frustrates me. Sorry, I'm just popping off with things that annoy me, right? Something that frustrates me sometimes is like this idea is like, you know, the rest of the world just want to copy us, and I do agree with that. They definitely do commercialize like black American identity and black American culture, absolutely, and it's at the forefront. When we talk about pop culture, it's absolutely like mainstream black American culture, guaranteed, point blank. That's where it is, right? And they commercialize it and they sell it everywhere, hence why everybody receives it. But you also have to understand, America is like has control of all the media. So like, and sometimes I've talked to people, they're like, oh, you watched Family Guy? What? You had that in the UK? Like, yes. Do you know what I mean? But like, if I'm like, yeah, man, I'm not gonna talk about, not House of the Anubis, do you know what I mean? But like, yeah, like if I'm like, yeah, man, you know about like Horrid Henry, EastEnders, you know about like Catch the Gate, like no one's gonna know. Do you know what I mean? They don't know what those things are. Do you know what I mean? Well, I feel like Horrid Henry's been blown up recently, right? But like, you get the premise, you get the point, right? I know like Top Boy's been like blown up too, and then people's doing up their little accents, so that's always frustrating. But like, yeah, you know, it's there's a disparity there, right? And something I learned very quickly is that it's not that the world knows a lot about like American culture or American sensibilities or American thing, but the world engages in a lot of American media because America is the dominant superpower in the world. I'm not gonna go as far as to say there's nothing wrong with that. There is something wrong with that. The problem is it exoticizes and commercializes African Americans. I'm sure they don't want that, right? But it also kind of uses them as a token, as, you know, we're representing black people, and really you're just representing one type of black people, one like version or one iteration of like black culture. Do you know what I mean? And we just all have to accept that now. I didn't get to grow up with a lot of black British shows or media. In fact, I just didn't. I didn't grow up with a single black British cartoon. Do you know what I mean? I didn't grow up with a single black British show. I didn't have these things. I just didn't. Now we have our little Top Boys, and we have like, you know, like saw something recently that was really good. We have our black males, you know what I mean? Like we have these things now, like a bit. I didn't say we have them. We're just getting a bit better. Do you know what I mean? But like way back growing up, no. And for the record, I was born in the year 2000. Like I'm young, first and foremost, right? Like that was not that long ago. To be blunt, not that long ago. Like the turn of the millennium, that was not that long ago. It really wasn't. So like, yeah. And so I look at all of these things, and it's like we're underrepresented, you know, and they're exoticizing a certain like kind of blackness, and that's not good for them, and it's not good for the black people across the globe. It's not good for black people globally. And so globally, what's it called? And so for me, that's part of why making NIXIE is also like top priority, because it's like I want to make something that, you know, if I was 10 or 14 years old, if I played, I'll be like, I feel seen, I feel heard, I feel read, and I like this. Do you know what I mean? Like that's kind of part of where it is. And so having a bunch of these like uncomfortable experiences where I feel like I'm either not being taken seriously or I'm being looked down upon, right? Or it's just like this kind of passive aggressive, like microaggressive garbage, right? Like I'm not a fan of it, right? It makes me uncomfortable, and I'm someone, people, I isolate. Like I just do it. That's just who I am, right? When I feel uncomfortable, like in any environment, I just isolate. I just leave. That's just who I am. And so, do you know, like I was kind of thinking, and because this is something that, like, well, going into detail, like, this is a very common story, it's a very common narrative. Part of me really wanted to make, like, some form of, like, not even necessarily Black British, it could just be a Black diaspora space, but Black British is a start, just a space for creatives to kind of bounce off each other and talk about their ideas, whether it's music or, like, artwork or animation, game development, etc. Because, like, I can see the creativity. Do you know what I mean? Literally, I'm working on a Black British film right now with, like, a friend. I'm helping him edit the video. I should be editing the video right now. Bradley, if you're watching this video, I'm working on it. Sorry. But yeah, no. So, like, it's, yeah, that's something that's always been, like, I guess a mini dream of mine recently. Because, you know, building the space is important, you know? And we're getting more visibility now. And for the record, I'm not, representation politics don't mean a damn to me in a lot of ways. However, I recognize that there is still, like, value in it from a self-worth perspective. Do you know what I mean? Because just as there is a lot of, like, incredible things to pull from Black British history, Black British, like, youth, etc., equally so, right? Every now and again, I meet the Black British boy, and he's saying y'all, he's saying finna, like, he is using all the AAVE he can. He wants to fit in so bad. And if you have, like, you've seen this person, right? And you look at them, you're like, I'll tell you what I think when I look at them. I'm like, for crying out loud, you're not helping, right? You're feeding the narrative that, like, we're biting, and most of us aren't. Some of you are, but most of us aren't, you know? And, like, I imagine, and the way I see it, right, the reason people do that is because they feel like they don't have anything cool for themselves. Where is the Black British anime? Where's the Black British cartoon? Do you know what I mean? I'm still waiting for that one. Do you know? Where's the Black British comics? Do you know? I mean, the Black British music is there, right? We're growing again. Shout out to Nux. Nux is incredible. Lil Sims, incredible. I think she had, like, album of the year. What's it called? No Thank You. But yeah, no. It's kind of, I want to create, like, a little space. You know, just a safe space for, like, people to feel free to talk about these things and, like, the culture. You know, like, one of the best things about, like, engaging in, like, a lot of this media recently, like, speaking for myself, right? Because it's been coming out, like, more and more. It's just feeling seen. Like, when I watched that play, like, for the Black boys who may have considered suicide, one, it was a great, like, deconstruction of, like, Black masculinity and, like, you know, the struggles and problems in relation to that from a, like, a UK lens, right? But, like, the language in it, you know, the fact that, like, oh gosh, there's so much I could go into. This is supposed to be an update video and I've just been rambling. I'm so sorry, right? Hopefully those that have been interested in this are interested and they're still listening. And if you were just like, man, I wanted to hear what was going on with the channel, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, honestly. But the sentiment is the same. The feelings are the same. It's just something I want to do because I think there's just a lot of value in it. I think that's everything on my list, to be honest. Told you guys I'm engaged. We spoke about NIXIE. Spoke about why I've been kind of finicky about making videos. Problem with engagement. Boondocks videos. Video ideas. The video game, like my game, talking about documenting that on the channel, asking people to be interested in that, creating a Black British space, doing the food bank bi-monthly, and changing the Patreon a little bit. That's another thing. Support me on Patreon if you want to, because, like, I mean, one, it helps with game development, helps with all of this stuff, and, like, to be blunt, it just be nice. You know what someone once told me, and this was years ago, and sadly it's still true. Someone once told me, you are the biggest Black British, like, leftist on YouTube, right? And I was like, that's not true. And then I thought about it, and I said, oh my god, it's true. I don't want that. Because one, I'm not good enough for it. And two, like, yeah, one, I'm not good. Sorry about that. One, I'm not good enough for it, to be blunt. And two, like, did I not just bring up Hyphenated J, who's, like, way more talented than me? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's that's kind of disheartening. Do you know what I mean? Like, we want more. If like someone says you're the biggest of this, and I'm just like, yeah, but where's the rest of us? Do you know? Like, where's everybody else? What happens? What happens? Do you know? And so yeah, I mean, I don't know if Kidology is left. I don't think she is. No. No. I've seen their videos. No way. Sorry. Oh man. But yeah, no. I kind of just want to use. I'm gonna be rambling. Just at this point, there's no notes now. I've already been rambling. It's been going on for an hour. I think at its core, I just kind of want to make something that like, I want to make content that's gonna make people happy. I want to put more parts of myself out there. The truth is, I don't put this out as much, but people that know me know this. I'm a very goofy person. Just I'm always busy. Like, I've been kind of African household geared to just work. Wake up, work. You know, like it's this. What are you doing? Like, how are you working? Why are you grinding? This, that. It's interesting. Like, obviously, leftist, socialist, like strong progressive leanings, whatever. Right? Those are my views. But like, I'll look at. But like, my work ethic is almost hyper capitalistic. Or like, my work ethic speaks to someone that has been like very much indoctrinated by capitalist rhetoric, right? And that's a shame sometimes, right? Because it really does play an effect on my mental health a lot of the time. I get really tired. It can, like, sometimes I burn out and I crash. Obviously, like, pick yourself back up, keep going. But it could be a lot, and then you're trying to manage that with like commissions and trying to give a talk and the food bank and, you know, the game and making videos, and obviously I'm engaged and to make time for that, like everything. And then you're also trying to have a social life, because, you know, can't all work and no play makes David a dull boy. Like, it's just hard, man. It's not an easy thing. It is not an easy thing at all. Like, yeah, man, it is not easy. And it kind of, obviously it comes with the territory, but you're navigating YouTube, which is basically is kind of trash now. Do you want me to be honest? It's getting really trashy because of the algorithm, and everybody's making the same video now. And like, game dev is the most draining thing in the world. Like, back in the day, I had so much time. Even, oh god, just the disparity between making a game and making a video is insanely different. When I make YouTube videos, like like okay, here's a little story. The reason I dropped a bunch of videos recently is because my laptop broke that I was using for programming. I said, well, what am I gonna do now? I need to work. And I'm like, okay, right, I can make YouTube videos. I churned out like 5 videos that month, right? On both channels. By the way, I do have a second channel for like Ace Attorney stuff, right? It's called the Mason System. But yeah, no, like, I was just working on videos, and I was like, oh my god, I can make videos and I can do them very quickly, and I can get a response, and it's easy, and like, it's not gonna like, you mean I'm not gonna be stuck on this video for 2 years? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's, yeah, man, I don't know. That's neither here nor there. I hope you guys enjoyed this little podcast spiel thing. I'm sorry I kept you guys for so long. I will upload this video. I don't know what the visuals are going to be. I'm probably going to make them like something weirdly trippy, because it's the type of person I am. I think it's cool. Play some like ambient music in the background, maybe. But yeah, no, thank you guys so much for your time. Thank you guys for your support. Like, I recognize it's been a rough 2 years in everything, but I always ask, like, try to ask, like, what do you guys actually want to see from me? Do you want to see like more free Hueys? Do you want to see like more like wacky out there videos, like The Wretched of the Sonic? Or I've been watching a lot of Gurren Lagann, like, do you know what I mean? What's it called? I watched a lot of weird like live action shows recently, right? But yeah, no, like, what do you guys? What do you? I would just ask this always out of curiosity. What do you guys want to see from me? You know, because we are entering like a really transitionary time, a very transitional period in the channel, and it's time for a rebrand in every sense of the word. Like, we need to I've been working on this channel since I was like 14, right? This channel turns 10 this year. I got like you know what I mean? There was a period of time where I just did Ace Attorney videos, and I swapped, and I said, you know what, doing Boondocks, and I became Boondocks guy for a while, and I still hold on to some of that. I still got some of that, but it's time for another change. And so this time I want you guys to be more involved, and I'm just like, so what do you guys want to see from me? One, and are you guys excited or even remotely interested in some of the things that have coming up? You know, tell me about what's been going on. I recognize faces all the time. I recognize, well, profile pictures and names all the time. So if you leave a comment, I will probably recognize you. If you have a question, I'll probably answer it. In fact, I definitely will answer it. And if you want to support the channel, and if you want to support the game, and I guess the food bank bi-monthly now, if that changes, by the way, I'll communicate that on the Patreon. But also the Patreon's gonna have game dev updates, right? Got to plug that. Patreon gonna have some game dev updates, so that's cool. So like mix in the backers and the patrons. You know, obviously the backers get things first, but patrons can get some stuff too. I don't see why not. But yeah, no, that's kind of it, really. Sonic Riders is the GOAT. The Warden's review is great. The Boondocks season 1 is a little bit overrated, but I still really love it. And videos are coming, you know. We'll talk soon, but for now, take care of yourself. Ugh, I can't even do the outro. I'm so tired. You know, it's 3 a.m. Something nostalgic about recording videos at 3 a.m. because like a majority of my videos were recorded at 3 a.m. Do you think that's a bad thing? Do you think that's a problem? I think that's a problem. Do you think I have a problem? Oh no. Alright, anyway. That's neither here nor there. Alright, cool. Thank you guys so much for your time. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. We pray that tomorrow will be better than today. Power to the people. Peace. See, I still remember it. I'm still good. Good lord. Alright, cool. Shout you guys in a bit. Peace.